Champions aren't defined by the knockdown. They're defined by if they get back up. This is Jake Thompson, your Chief Encouragement Officer. Welcome to the Compete Everyday podcast for a brand new episode to kick off a brand new week. I'm so incredibly excited you are here as we are starting back our 3 times a week episodes. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you will get a fresh Compete Everyday episode on ways you can improve your winning mindset, maybe a message to help you better focus that day to show up, do your best, and pursue your victory. And more than anything, what you're going to find here is the truth on what it takes to succeed, what it takes to show up and compete every day. Because honestly, everybody wants to win. Who doesn't want to win? Who doesn't want to hold the trophy? Who doesn't want to be the best? But not everybody's willing to compete for that win. Because competing, there's a chance of losing. There's a chance you're going to fail. You may fall short. Because as Tim Grover talks in his book, Winning, as we've all seen, you may show up every day, do everything you can, work as hard as you can, and still not win. But in those moments, after you've been knocked down, after you've pursued for so long, after those times that you still haven't gotten to that point, gotten to that trophy, won that goal, will you still show up and keep competing? Because this episode is for the people who will. See, every one of us have setbacks in life. Some of them are pretty devastating. Some are not as disappointing, but we all face challenges, setbacks, adversities. In my book, I tell the story of 2008 Big Ten indoor track champion Heather Dorniden, who in the middle of the championship race on the second of 3 laps falls, face plants into the track, and spots her opponents a quarter of a lap. The beauty of that story and why I love to tell that story on stage and in my book is because when Heather fell, that story mirrored so many of our lives and so many of our last couple of years to that point. Maybe before COVID, this was you. You were feeling good. You were running strong in whatever pursuit you had. You were making progress in your career. You were confident that all of the work you'd been putting in up until this point was finally going to pay off. You were feeling like this was your time to win. And then COVID hit. And then your entire world got shaken up. Maybe it wasn't COVID. Maybe you had a relationship end. Maybe you lost that job that you loved and thought was the only thing you were ever going to do the rest of your life. We all face challenges and setbacks. And in that moment on the track, Heather had 2 choices. And it's the same 2 choices that you and I get to make every single time we face a challenge and adversity. We can do what most people do. We can sit on the track. We can pound it with our fist. We can scream in anger and frustration, "This isn't fair!" Maybe we crawl to the side of the track and we just watch with envy at the other racers who are still running. We think in the back of our heads, they cheated. One of them tripped us. Maybe somebody on the sidelines that was one of their friends messed us up. It has to be someone else's fault. We sit there with jealousy, with rage, with envy because somebody else has to be at fault for us falling down. And now we're going to sit and just wait and watch while everyone else goes and gets their wins. And man, we're just not our fate, not our destiny. We're just not that lucky. That's what most of the world does when challenges hit. They sit and lie there. They hit the track, they complain, they look to blame someone else. But you know what champions do? I'm sure you do if you've read the book. They do exactly what Heather did in that moment. They get back up and start competing again. Just like that in 2008. See, Heather got back up and went after him. The other racers are a quarter of a lap ahead of her in the final lap, but that did not matter to this girl in this moment. She ran the race of her life, and she won. It's one of the most beautiful videos I've ever seen. I've linked to it in the show notes for you to go back and watch later because it's the power of how you respond when things don't go your way. I don't know why Heather tripped. She could have tripped on her own feet. She could have missed a spot in the track. Another racer's feet could have hit her. It could have been accidental. It could have been intentional. It doesn't matter what happened. She got knocked down. But instead of lying there complaining, looking to point the finger and blame someone else, what did she do? She got back to her feet and started competing. That's what defines champions. It's not a matter of facing setbacks or not facing setbacks. Everyone that becomes a winner faces challenges. They have adversity on their path. There are things they have to overcome. Sometimes we see them. Sometimes it's just like Heather, and we see those challenges, those things that they deal with. We see those failures in the public limelight. But a lot of times, we don't. A lot of times, those people deal with failures like divorce, debt, bankruptcy, failed business, broken heart, injury, mental health diagnosis. They deal with all of these battles, things that we don't see on social media, things you don't see out in public, but they're going through them. And the question is not, will you have challenges or adversity? Because we know inevitably in life you will. The question that counts is, how will you respond to them? When things don't go your way, when you get knocked down, when you lose that job, you lose that relationship, your spouse walks out on you, your job falls apart, your business goes under, you get stuck with an injury or a cancer diagnosis. When life hits you, will you sit and complain and pound the track and cry and point the finger and be the victim like everyone else? Or will you get up and compete? Will you show other people that it's not what knocks you down, but it's how you get back up and respond? Will you show the people watching you that are going through the same situation as you are, that I will not lose to this, I will not let this define me, I write my own story. Watch me. Because that's the key. There are people watching you. The stands were full of people watching Heather that day, and they saw a competitor get knocked down, face plant, embarrass herself, spot a lead to her opponents, and then get up and run the race of her life to inspire them of what's possible. Will you do the same? Your friends are watching. Your family's watching. Your kids are watching. Your coworkers are watching. Those people at the gym are watching. They want to know what it looks like when someone who says they compete every day, when someone who wears this brand or this wristband or has that sticker and talks about the goals that they want to achieve, they want to see what that person does when life isn't easy for them. They want to see what they do when life knocks them down. Are you going to sit and do like everyone else? The people that bitch and complain and whine and troll on social media and point the finger and want to be the victim? Or will you be one of the few who gets up and competes? Do you want to be the person that reinforces society's image of here's how you handle a challenge? Or do you want to break the mold, set the tone, and show them this is how you overcome one? The choice is yours. Every single one of us. Life will inevitably knock you down. It will challenge you in the face. It will hit you, and it will try to break you. That's the story for every single one of us. And in that moment, we have the choice to be like everyone else or to separate ourselves as a winner. Don't cry, don't complain. That doesn't do anything to change your situation. Pointing the finger doesn't change the fact that you already got knocked down. What does is how you get back up and compete. So whatever you're going through this week, don't give up. Whatever challenge has been put in your path, I know you didn't ask for it, you didn't want it, but it's now on you on how you respond to it. And more importantly, how you overcome it. Get back to your feet. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, keep getting back to your feet and competing. I'm cheering for you, competitor. Go win your week. And more importantly, show others what it looks like to win. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Compete Everyday podcast. To join the Morning Competitor Club, text COMPETE to 972-945-9113 and use the code PODCAST to get 15% off any order at CompeteEveryday.com anytime. Until next time, keep showing up, keep competing. I'm cheering for you, competitor.